Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled amidst rolling hills, there lived a wise old man named Samuel. He was renowned throughout the village not for his wealth or possessions, but for his radiant health and vitality. Samuel firmly believed in the age-old adage, health is wealth, and he had lived his life by this mantra. Samuel's mornings always began with a rejuvenating walk through the lush green fields surrounding the village. The crisp morning air filled his lungs, and the melodious chirping of birds served as his daily alarm clock. As he strolled, he would often stop to pick fresh fruits and vegetables from his garden, nurturing his body with nature's bounty. The villagers admired Samuel's robust health and often sought his advice on how to lead healthier lives. He was not a wealthy man by material standards, but his vitality and the sparkle in his eyes were far more valuable to him than any treasure. One day, a visitor from a distant city named Richard arrived in the village. He was a successful businessman, known far and wide for his immense wealth. Richard had heard about Samuel's extraordinary health and decided to pay him a visit. As he approached Samuel's modest cottage, he couldn't help but notice the simplicity of the man's surroundings. The cottage was small, and there were no signs of opulence. Upon meeting Samuel, Richard couldn't hide his curiosity. "I've heard that you possess a treasure more valuable than any riches," Richard said. Samuel smiled warmly and invited Richard to sit. He then began to share his philosophy about health being the true wealth of life. He explained how he prioritized eating fresh, wholesome foods, engaging in regular physical activity, and maintaining a positive outlook on life. He had never felt the need for excessive wealth or possessions, as his health provided him with boundless happiness and contentment. Richard was intrigued by Samuel's words, but couldn't help feeling a pang of skepticism. To him, wealth was measured in terms of gold and silver, not in the vibrancy of one's well-being. Over the course of several days, Richard observed Samuel's way of life. He accompanied Samuel on his morning walks, shared meals of fresh produce, and listened to the stories of the village. As the days passed, Richard felt a transformation within himself. He began to appreciate the simple pleasures of life. One evening, as Samuel and Richard sat by a crackling fire, Richard spoke from his heart. "Samuel, I've spent my life pursuing wealth and possessions, believing that they would bring me happiness. But I now realize that true wealth lies in the richness of one's health and the depth of one's relationships. I've been blind to life's simple joys for far too long." Samuel smiled knowingly. "It's never too late to embrace a healthier, happier way of life," he said. "Your realization is a treasure in itself." Richard decided to make a profound change in his life. He returned to the city, not as a relentless seeker of wealth, but as an advocate for health and well-being. He used his resources to build community gardens, organize fitness programs, and promote healthy living. Slowly, he began to see the people in his city adopting healthier lifestyles and experiencing the true wealth that comes from being healthy and happy. As for Samuel, he continued to live his simply yet fulfilling life in the village, sharing his wisdom with those who sought it. He knew that in the end, health was indeed the greatest wealth one could possess, for it allowed people to savor every moment of their lives and find true contentment in the world around them.